let's get right into the game tonight. There was a beatdown in the Bay, and it wasn't rendered by the 49ers. It was the Ravens that brought their show on the road. The first team with 5 picks in the game this season. Their defense overwhelmed. The front runner at the start of the game, MVP Brock Purdy, picked him off what looked like a very promising drive to start the opening possession. Ocho, Kyle Hamilton made a great play on the ball. He intercepted it, and they really never looked back from that point. The offense scored 7 points and scored points on 7 straight possessions. The Ravens offense scored points on 7 straight possessions. And led by as many as 21. And I know the final score was 33-19, but the score, it wasn't indicative of what a demolition job the Ravens did on the 49ers. The Baltimore Ravens have won 5 straight games and can clinch the number 1 seed next week with a win against the Miami Dolphins. Ocho, when you look at this game, what was a couple of your big takeaways?
Obviously, when I had picked, thinking about it, I had picked the Ravens to win the game, but then I thought about how could the Ravens win this game with a high-powered offense, the juggernaut offense that is the 49ers. And the first thing I thought about, and when it comes to NFL games, it's all about matchups. It's all about matchups and schemes. And how well do the Ravens defense match up against the 49ers offense? It's all about personnel. It's all about personnel and the players you have at each position and how does each position match up individually. And they match up really well. But what scared me about this game is they had the turnovers early. They got 1 touchdown to the turnovers, but they had 2 field goals. And I just kept thinking to myself, well, if you're just getting field goals, that'll still get you beat because the offense of the 49ers is very high powered. And they had 3 interceptions. 49ers went down and scored, and all of a sudden, it was a 1-point game. You hadn't capitalized at all. So that kind of scared me a little bit about it. And I had tweeted it out. I said, listen, the Ravens, if you're gonna get these turnovers, you're gonna have to score points. Not no goddamn field goals.
Right.
Let's make it a barn burner and run away with the game. So defensively, you can force the 49ers to make mistakes and get outside of their game plan on what they really like to do. And listen, they ended up winning. Lamar is 21-1 versus NFC teams in his career.
Yeah, best in I think it's best in Stabler since the merger.
He was 23 for 35 for 252, 2 TDs. Zay Flowers, is nice, man. Zay Flowers is very nice.
But the thing was, you mentioned the 22 or 35, Ocho, 252 and 0 touchdowns. But it was clean, no interceptions,
game.
No fumbles,
no interceptions, no picks. Zay was 9 for 72 in the TD. The Ravens have won 9 of the last 10 games. 9 of the last 10 games, plus they had 4 sacks on Purdy. Listen, the remaining schedule for the Ravens, obviously, they had a gauntlet of games to play the last 4. They got the Dolphins and the Steelers coming up. The Dolphins, that's another test. Another playoff atmosphere type game against the Dolphins, which has another high-powered offense, just like the 49ers.
Because the Dolphins want that number 1 seed also.
Yeah. They want everything to come through Miami.
Yep. You're right. You're absolutely right. The Ravens get 5 turnovers, 4 sacks, 2 on Purdy, 2 on Sam Darnold. But I thought the fact, Ocho, when you look at and for like the last 5 weeks, I think everybody had come to the conclusion the 2 best teams in the NFL were the Baltimore Ravens and the San Francisco 49ers. Okay. I said, we're going to find out what you got going on come Christmas. Now, when you got 2 teams and we're right here, what's the one thing that can put the other team way up on top of you? Turnovers.
Yeah.
You look at what the 49ers had been beating people. The Ravens did to them what they had been doing to other teams. When you turn the ball over that many times, Ocho, it's hard for you to win. I don't care how great your offense is, and I don't care how great your defense is. The likelihood of you keeping them to kick field goals, that's great. But the likelihood when you got a guy that's won the MVP, he's in the MVP discussion right now, and now he's probably in the lead, considering the guy that Purdy was in substantial lead in front of Lamar. But considering how bad he looked and how good Lamar looked, it's hard for me to see a scenario that he's not the favorite. And I believe Christian McCaffrey, who was in third, is now in second, considering that he looked good and Purdy looked so bad. But Lamar, deservingly so, deserves to be in the MVP discussion because he was good with it. He was good. He didn't turn the ball over. He made plays. You see, the thing is, Ocho, when I watched the 49ers, and I watched them very closely, they're a team that like to jump off the ball and go get the quarterback. But if you see how they rush right down the man. They didn't want to give him lanes that he can take off running. Well, you make the offensive line job very easy if you don't get on edges. So now all they just do is anchor, let you walk him back step by step, and now Lamar has time to survey the field. Because the one thing it seemed like they didn't want to do is give him a lane and let him jump out the window and take off.
And this is what I liked about Lamar tonight, though. This is what I like about Lamar, because coming out, they say, oh, he's a running back. He's a running back. But now his game has evolved to the point where now I'm a drop back passer. And I'm not running the ball unless I have to, unless I have no goddamn hell high water. I got to take off and run it. And then he out here acting like Houdini with it. Not only is he escaping the pocket, so the 49ers had their game plan. Can I ask you a question? Where was Bosa tonight?
They rendered the defensive line because Bosa likes to bend the edge. Everybody wants to bend the edge. Ocho, if I run upfield, what you think Lamar gonna do? He's gonna step up in one of them lanes and he's gone.
Right.
So now it's like Ocho is gonna be one of those games. Ocho, we not gonna, that pass rush, so everything's gonna be quick, or we're gonna try to run the ball. And then everybody look up and say, man, look at Ocho numbers. Ocho ain't have no chance to get the ball because the offensive line wasn't gonna be able to hold up. And see, that's the thing. At the end of the day, you got, and I understand what Steve Wilkes, the defensive coordinator, was trying to do. He's like, guys, we don't want to give him an edge. We don't want to give him lanes. We just want, but at some point in time, you said, look, guys, we tried it this way and we can't get him on the ground. At some point in time, we got to change it up, Ocho.
Right.
I mean, they say, Ocho, hey, Ocho, you got to go to the coach. Coach, the dude sitting outside, I can't run the out. He playing outside leverage. Give me an in cut. Give me a dig. Give me something that I'm breaking away because he's playing outside leverage because he don't want me to run by him and he don't want me to run the speed out. Well, at some point in time, you got to say, hey, go get the quarterback. And if he gets a lane, he gets a lane.
That's on me if he does. Clearly, if he's on me, he does. Yeah.
Because how many times did he buy time, find Zay Flowers, buy time, find Bateman, buy time, find Light?
Yeah.
So what are we doing at this point? And give him credit. I mean, you see the sidearm throws. He was making plays, and he didn't put the ball in harm's way. The 49ers put the ball in harm's way, and the game got away from them. Like we've seen, the Eagles put the ball in harm's way. 49ers ran away from them. The Cowboys didn't have that many turnovers, but they Seattle. Look at the teams they beat. Normally, they win the turnover battle. You can't turn the ball over 5 times against a good football team. Win. And the Ravens I believe the Ravens are the best team in the AFC. I believe they were the second best team in the NFL. Well, I don't think anybody's going to doubt now they're the best team in the NFL, considering they've just beat what many thought was the best team in the NFL. And they went on the road to do it.
They went in Levi Stadium to do it. I think they are the best team in the NFL, but what I think it is about hitting your stride at the right time. I also wouldn't count out the goddamn Rams, who are playing really good football at the right time. They're catching their stride at the right time. The 49ers won't be playing a defense like that of the 49ers. I think they like the Ravens. I think other teams that they will match up with, they can dominate based on personnel, based on what they do from a schematic standpoint. They can have an advantage. But the Ravens, for some reason, match up against them very, very well. Very well. And that's, I always say, it's one thing to look at the teams that are playing, but then you look at the personnel. And if you understand the personnel and the players that they have, you know that they match up with that team, very well.
Ocho, if you look at the first interception, it's quarter coverage. There's nothing to hold the front side safety.
Nothing at all.
Why would he, I understand Debo's crossed the backside safety's face, but what's holding the front side safety?
They had nothing there. They had nothing there. Yeah.
Nothing. Yeah. And so I'm looking, I'm like, bro, what are you seeing? First of all, we get a game plan, Ocho. We come in a situation. Okay, at this area of the field, this down in distance, this area of the field, this is the coverage they like to play. Okay, this is against this formation. Against this formation, they like to play this coverage. So you have a general idea of kind of the coverage
based
that they're
on
going to
down
play.
and distance,
Down and distance and area of the field. Bro, you drop back. It's quarters. The safety basically go drop straight back. I get it. You trying to hold the backside. You flare one side and you run. I think it's George Kittle. You run him like a square out. Now the only way you can hold him is that if you have him push up higher. But if you notice, the corner sunk on the backside. So there's really no, and now the safety doesn't have to do anything. He just see it. And Kyle Hamilton like, thank you. And then the other two interceptions, bro. Stevens come, they run double slot blitz. Stevens come from one side, Marlon Humphrey come from the other. He gets his hands up. He bats the ball up in the air. Purdy tries to locate it. Well, by this time,
he didn't know where he got it.
And then the other one, Kyle Hamilton's on the ground. He gets up off the ground, off a carom. You see how hustle?
Yeah.
You see what hustle? You see what hustle does?
And being in the right place at the right time. Being in the right place at the right time.
But did you watch those 49ers receivers? Did you see them going to George Kittle catch that ball? Did you see Ayuk? Did you see Debo? Did you see those guys? Those guys. We're gonna talk about this later. But did you see Zacchaeus on Devontae Smith run? Did you see how he hit him on the DB on the 10 and pancaked him in the end zone, Ocho? But in this game, kudos to the Baltimore Ravens. You're right now the best team in football, regardless of conference. Lamar Jackson is the MVP front runner.
That's what I was going to ask you.
I
mean, basically, you can actually give it to him. We got 2 games left in the season, and obviously, MVP is based on what you've done throughout the regular season. They got the Dolphins and the Steelers next. I think the showing against the Dolphins at home at M&T Bank Center, whatever it's called, where they play, I think
M&T Stadium.
I think they're gonna have. He's gonna have a good game. So if based on his showing these next 2 games, wouldn't you say Lamar Jackson would be the NFL's MVP, regardless of statistics?
Now we know what. But you know what? Hold on. So are you telling me if he has a game like Brock Purdy, he's
not going to have a. He's not. They're
Did you think Brock Purdy was
offensively? Offensively, the Ravens aren't a volume passing team like the 49ers are. So the chance that the 49ers the chances of having a game like that is slim to none.
You know, Brock Purdy throw the 26 most passes in the NFL, even though he was second in passing yards. They're not a volume team. They're a running team. And think about the passes that they throw, Ocho.
Well, quick. Okay.
Okay.
I see you going with it.
Yeah. But you got 2 games to go. A lot of things can happen in 2 games. But right now, as they're showering and feeling good about themselves, and rightfully so, Lamar Jackson is your MVP right now.
Okay.
He's your MVP right now. And I got Christian McCaffrey.
Second. I'm gonna go out on a limb. And knowing with it only being 2 games left, the momentum, the confidence, the morale that the team has right now, I have a good feeling that momentum is going to continue into next week, and obviously it's going to continue on to the Steelers. And he probably will be the MVP for the second time.
It's just something about here's the thing. You know the Ravens and the Steelers don't like each other.
Yeah.
And that's a division rival.
I know about that. Yeah.
Now you look, you know how division rival games go. But there's nothing. I mean, this is like Michigan, Ohio State. This is North Carolina. This is North Carolina Duke. They despise this the Hatfield McCoy. They despise each other.
Literally, they do.
And if you think because the Steelers are going to probably need to win that game to make the playoffs. So,
oh shit, for real? That's right. Yes,
because the Ravens clinched the division. So now they need this to make the playoffs.
So that makes the implications of that game even that much more serious.
Yes,
for the Steelers.
Yes. And if I get a chance to it, let's see him. Not only can I clinch the division, I can make sure somebody else have home field instead of you. Hey, I get 2 birds for one. Hey, I get 2 for the price of 1. But it's going to be great. Congratulations to the Baltimore Ravens. Go on the road 3 time zones. That's a long way to travel,
Ocho. It's going to be a beautiful flight home. I know that. It's going to be a beautiful flight home. Like it. Because if you lost, if you had lost and got to take that 5-hour flight from the west to the east, it ain't gonna be pretty.
and then getting home. I mean, it's already midnight on the East. They haven't even left the stadium
yet.
Not
at all. Not at all. They ain't
so
gonna take off until maybe, let me see, team 53 players, staff, gotta unload all equipment. They probably ain't gonna take off till about 1 o'clock.
Yeah. About 1:15, 1:30, Ocho.
Like that.
East Coast time. It'll be 10:30 West Coast time. But because they traveling east. So they ain't gonna get home till about 6:30, 7 a.m.
Easily.
Because that's what happened. We got back. We played Miami on a Monday night. And we had to come back to Denver. Ocho, I was like, and Mike's like, okay, you got off. And I normally come in. Hell, I worked out. I got my stuff. I changed out about my clothes. I got me a workout. I said, I see y'all.
Right.
I ain't coming. Hey, bro, it's already 5:30, 6 o'clock. I might as well just go and get me a workout.
Get it out the way.
And be done with it.